Hello everybody out there in the music community. This is Mike here, Soldier777. It's been roughly around 3 weeks since my last video, so I figured I'd pop this one out there. Before I do that, I want to make reference to some current events that's going on in Canada. As you may know, the truckers have embarked on a journey to Ottawa to protest the vaccine mandates, which happened. They started converging on Ottawa around January 28th. And in light of that, Justin Trudeau decided to invoke the Emergencies Act. And of course, legally, this has to be debated in the House of Commons in Ottawa. And the Trudeau, who's a liberal, like your Democrats in the U.S., and the Conservatives, which is like your Republicans in the U.S., are opposing this. So this has to be debated in the House of Commons before it's enforced. Currently, the police is confiscating gas cans and freezing GoFundMe campaigns. And the banks, they're telling the banks, or encouraging the banks, I'm not sure if it's law yet, to have no dealings with truckers or people associated with truckers, which I think is absolute BS. And I think the Emergency Act is absolute BS. Everyone has a right to protest, to have their rights, protected rights. I support the truckers. I support anyone has families who are associated with truckers, and they're a lifeline of our economy, our country. You know, they get you your food, the parts for your house, the parts for your car, any materials in your possession have come to you because of a trucker, or if not a trucker, an airplane or boat or what have you. So, yeah, so this is how it's going on in Canada. Trudeau, I think, is a communist. He's an idiot, and he needs to go. So, and of course, he had a chat with Joe Biden, and Joe Biden told him to enforce the law. Of course, Canada doesn't have much of a military. They rely on people like the U.S. to protect them militarily. So he knows Trudeau's going to bow to what a more powerful country wants, which is utterly ridiculous. Trudeau, there's going around the internet that Trudeau is a father of Fidel Castro, or the son of Fidel Castro, because his mother was a swinger. It's not his fault as to who his parents are, but his fault how he reacts to things and what he puts into law based on the votes of the parliament in law. So that's my take on all this. I think it's absolute crap, and I think that because of protests, people have a lot of great things have come about, such as the women's suffrage movement, the equal rights for the blacks in the states, the labor movement since the Industrial Revolution began. They've changed laws regarding that. So positive change have come about because of protests. Now, I may not agree with the method that they use to protest, but I support them for the protests. But like I said, there's a lot of great things that come about from protests in the past. And that's my take on it, and I'll probably keep you guys up to date posted. I just figure let you know too, if you don't think that it may happen to in the U.S. where a leader enforces an Emergencies Act to limit your rights, it can happen in your country too. Or if you're in Britain, or if you're in a smaller country, it can happen in your country too. So right now, and I know some of the highest rankings of government are not, don't care about Judeo-Christian values, but there are many that do. They may not be actual Christians, but there are people in Parliament that do care for those kinds of values and morals. So I ask you guys to pray for those in authority in Canada, U.S., and around the world, and pray that God will restore our land and our country in Canada, U.S. People came over here from 100 years ago to escape the tyranny of the Catholic Church during the Inquisitions, high taxes by their governments, and for new business ventures, for new opportunities. And they came here for freedom. And now look where we're at right now. Our freedom is being challenged. Our individual rights and freedoms. You can't. The things the government don't realize is that they work for us. We don't work for the government. They work for us. And the purpose of the Charter of Rights and the Bill of Rights and whatever we have in the U.S. is to put restraints on the government from having their way with the people. The truckers have hired a lawyer with the civil rights liberties to represent them in court regarding the Mercies Act and freezing their financial assets like their bank accounts. And I guess right now they're going to challenge the Charter of Rights, how this supersedes or overreaches the Charter of Rights by doing this to the truckers. So I ask for you guys to pray for that organization and pray for our truckers in both Canada and U.S. because as you may know, Canada is the U.S. biggest trading partner, and what impacts Canada impacts U.S. So keep that in your prayers and in your thoughts. Anyway, let's get back to the main issue at hand. So the purpose of the video is I mentioned a while back that I'll show a video regarding a theme called Ingrained in Your Brain. And what that means is that those records that's been a part of you for the past 20 or 30 years or more, that you listen to it often, pretty much, if not all the albums, most of the album, every song, a lot of lyrics, a lot of drum licks, the guitar riffs, the vocal melodies, the rhythm section and whatnot. So I got about 5 or 6 records I'm going to show that's been in my collection in various versions for the past 20, 30 years or more that I've cherished and I've liked. And these are some of my favorite albums to this day. Let's get right to it. So here we have Petra, More Power to You. And this is the original Star Song version. And this is awesome artwork. And so I first got Petra back in the mid-'80s. And this has some great classic tunes. I mean, just every song in this album is excellent. Released in 1982, like Stand Up, Second Wind. Second Wind, my favorite tune on the album. More Power to You was a ballad. Judas Kiss was a slow, brooding rocker. Rose-colored stained glass windows was an excellent theme that talks about people who shut out the world, the Christians, and they're suffering and we're in our church or go about our daily lives immune to what's going on in the world. Great tune. Run for the Prize, about running the race of faith. All Over Me, it's a slow, Pink Floyd type rocker about the blood of Christ being all over us. Living That Has Breath was a praise tune. Road Design is another ballad, and Disciple. So these are great rockers. And I think back in 82, 81, there wasn't too many hard rockers or rockers back in the day. I mean, you had bands like Petra, Jerusalem, Daniel Band, and Leviticus. No, not Leviticus, sorry, because I think their first album came in 83, so this predates Leviticus. But you had Petra, Daniel Band, Jerusalem. They were the main rockers back in that days, and Daryl Mansfield. They were the main ones. Maybe a few other ones I'm forgetting, but I think maybe Barnabas too. I think they were started in '82 as well. But they were the 5 main hard rockers back in that day. And this helped pave the way to Petra's success. That one before that, Never Say Die. This helped pave the way to Petra's success because they had songs from this album on the Contemporary Christian Top 40 or the Top 20. I believe it was More Power to You, I think, and maybe Road Design, I think, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's definitely More Power to You, I think it was, back in the early 80s. And a very successful tour from this album. So there you have it. Petra, More Power to You. Great album. It's one of my favorites from Petra. Next up, we have an album that you all know and love. It's Striper, 12 the Devil. This is as you may know, this is a breakthrough album, crossover album. If Soldier Command opened the doors, this album smashed the doors down. Great album. I mean, what can be said about this one? I got the Music for Nations version of this one. Came out in October '86. Went multi-platinum over the years. I mean, it had 3 great hits on video, TV, and radio. Calling You Free and Honestly. I believe in certain other regions too. I think Sing Along Song was a sort of a minor hit as well, if I'm not mistaken. Sing Along Song, certain other regions as well. So those 4 songs are quite popular. And also you have the songs like The Way and To Up the Devil and More Than a Man. They were staples in their concerts. Great album. This came in, and I was blown away. I had the original censored version of cassette, which I got in December of '86. I didn't realize it was this version of it until years later. When my buddy of mine had a cassette with the original artwork, and I asked him if I could trade a cassette for my original censored cassette version. He didn't decline, which I can't blame him. But I got this version on artwork on CD and vinyl. So awesome album. You all know this album, so we'll talk too much more about this one. Next up, we have a great band. I was late getting this band. They started in the early '80s. The main member became a Christian through Hal Lindsey's ministry. He was Greek Orthodox, converted to Christianity, or became a born again Christian. And a great band. They weren't too popular in the U.S. and Canada. They were popular in Europe. Here we have Joshua, Intense Offense, which features a great Rob Rock on vocals. There's a West German import on RC Records label. There you have it. And I mean, this has a lot of great tunes. I mean, this has Reach Up, I've Been Waiting, Only Yesterday, Crying for Love, Living on the Edge, Tearing Up My Heart, Remembering You, which is an awesome ballad, one of my favorite ballads of all time. Look to the Sky, Don't You Know, Stand Alone. Just by reading these titles, some of the melodies come back to my mind. And I love the artwork of the Mechanical Eagle, which I think Mechanical Eagle represents the, here we have the back cover, which is a sort of a wraparound. And I think this one's supposed to represent the Mechanical Eagle, the government, where the government can appear to be unfeeling. As you know, the eagle is a symbol of the U.S. and also a general symbol of freedom for many countries. And I believe the Mechanical Eagle represents the coldness of government, but the flesh part of the eagle represents the warmth of government, where they try to help people. And so you got a bit of both in many governments around the world. So I think this was supposed to represent the eagle. Very well represented album artwork. There you have it. Joshua Intense Events, released in 1988. And produced by Dieter Dirkschall, which produced the Scorpions and Accept. And while it's being produced in Germany, I believe Accept and Scorpions were producing their respective albums at the same time in the studio as well. There you have it. Joshua, Intense Events on RCA Records. Next up, we have a band which I had a cassette of and I sold for $5 back in '92. I bought a cassette off a buddy of mine in '87 or so for $5. And I sold it for another buddy of mine for $5 in '92. Here we have, and it's a great album. They only have a couple albums out, and this is one of the best ones. Here's Messiah Prophet, Master of Metal, on a Pure label imprint, Pure Metal Records imprint. Great album. I mean, here's a picture of the band in the back there. I mean, every song in this one's good. Psalm 23 is okay. It's 8 songs, but the other 7 is awesome. Hit and Run, Master Mills, my favorite song of the album. Awesome album. Fear No Evil, which is a great hard rocker. Heavy Metal Thunder, The Friend, Battle Cry, and Voices Calling. Great tunes in this one. I mean, I don't know why these guys were bigger than what they were. I think what happened was that they were trying to put together an album, and the band sort of fell apart due to lack of interest, I think. And they're trying to put an album around 80, 89. And I believe they did a song. They were on the Ultimate Star Song, Ultimate Metal compilation, and did a song called Blinded. That was the only other album they put out after this one, besides the Colors they put out in the mid-90s. But which no longer has original band members. I think the namesake of this band belonged to, I believe, the record exec or the producer, which had the rights to the name. So he tried to reform Messiah Prophet, but for a limited time in '96, but then he had original members. But anyway, as you know, the lead singer Charlie Clark died of a disease a few years back, so it's a tragedy. But I guess he's in glory right now. But great album, great band. Very melodic, classic metal. If you like bands like Dio, if you like bands like I wouldn't call it power metal like Priest or Maiden, but very kind of has a classic metal vibe, which I love. There you have Messiah Prophet, Master of Metal. Originally came out on Pure Metal Records in '86. Here we have the last one, and this is an awesome band. And you guys all know this band, Saint, Times End. Great band. When I got this in, I got in this band back around, I want to say mid early '87. I bought this cassette, and man, I was blown away. I mean, what an awesome cassette. I kind of got out of this band after a while. I got back into around 2004 when he started resurface. So yeah. And I started buying their albums and whatnot. About the collection and In a Battle, collection of 2 disc set of the first 4 albums. But great band album, Tom's End, came out in '86. This is the retroactive color vinyl version, and man, has every song in this one is good. This has In the Night, On the Prisoner about John exiled on Patmos, Space Cruiser, Through You, Tom's End, excellent title track, Primed and Ready, Destroyers of the World, awesome song. Phantom of the Galaxy, Steel Killer. You know, that was originally written about submarines. So, but the label wanted to change it and sing about, you know, something else. So they about evil or Satan. So Steel Killer is about, of course, of Satan. But yeah, awesome band, awesome album. And there you have the artwork in the back there, an autograph by Richard Lynch and Josh Kramer, which I ordered directly from Richard Lynch. Awesome artwork as usual. This is probably my favorite Saint album. Kind of a toss between this one and Too Late for Living. Both are great, but I think mine leans more towards this one. You know, I also and they broke off for a while, of course, and they regrouped in the late '90s. Put out the EP Perfect Life. In '04 they put out In a Battle. In a Battle is kind of where this one, Too Late for Living, left off. I believe the 3 of them is what I think is a trilogy. Times In, Too Late for Living, In a Battle. To me, that's sort of a trilogy. 1, 2, 3 punch, in my opinion. So I do have that on vinyl as well, autographed by Richard Lynch and Josh Kramer. But there you have it, Saint Times In. Great, awesome album. So what are your, so let me keep a thread going. What are your albums is ingrained in your brain, albums you never tire of? You can listen to them, enjoy them. You know, they're part of you. You know, so what are albums that's ingrained in your brain? What are albums that you enjoy listening to frequently, or certain songs you happen to have them shuffle on your phone, listening in the car on Bluetooth, or you pop in a CD or cassette or vinyl? What are your albums that you enjoy listening to? Let me know. Comment below, like, subscribe, and you guys have a great day. Bye now.